Yes, welcome to the Gunman Insta Live. It is 2025. It is freezing out there, freezing cold. But tonight it is going to be red hot like the chili peppers, because tonight we have the European and Commonwealth champion, the Cruiserweight King, Jack Massey, who's coming on to join us, the fight fans. Make sure you ask this brother some questions. This guy is a serious pugilist. He is great fun and a superb fighter to go with it. We have Jack Massey coming on Insta Live to share his journey with you, the fight fans. Make sure you jump on and ask this great man some questions. Superb fighter. It's going to be a pleasure to have a chat with him. Let me see if I can get him on. Mr. Massey. Let's see if we can just add him up. Mr. Jack Massey, people. This brother has been in with the likes of Richard Riakporhe, Isaac Chamberlain, and Combe. Yes, Mr. Massey.
There we go. How's it going?
How are you doing, champ?
I'm all good, mate. I'm all good.
Mate,
Good.
thank you so much for coming on to the Insta Live. It's been an absolute pleasure to host you.
Yeah, no problem at all, mate. No problem. Sorry, I was just sorting the camera out there.
Yeah, no, but listen, it wouldn't be right for you to get TKO'd by the camera. You know what I mean? Imagine that, getting TKO'd in round one by technology. That's just not a good look, Mr. Massey.
I am terrible with technology, mate. I've got to admit.
Yeah, well, listen, working live, it happens. But listen, thank you very much for coming on. This is the Gunman Insta Live. It is one of the biggest boxing channels on Instagram and on social media. For those that do not know this, brother, this is the European and Commonwealth champion, the Cruiserweight King, a top pugilist, 22 wins, 12 KOs, and only 3 defeats. This man has been in with the likes of Richard Riakporhe, Jay Opataya, Isaac Chamberlain, to name a few. This is Jack One Smack Massey.
Thanks for having me on.
Welcome for coming on, big man. Listen, where did you get the name One Smack from? That's where we got to start. Who came up with that? That's brilliant.
Do you know what? I think it was from my first professional fight back in 2013, and I think someone just started off the chant. I don't know who started it off. It was someone local, and I think it was one of my workmates, and it just took on from there.
Oh, really?
I didn't really like it at the start. I wanted something a bit cooler, but I was like, it just stuck, and then it ended up on Box Rec, and you know how it goes, mate. And yeah, I got stuck with it.
Mate, it is classic. Jack One Smack Massey. Honestly, I hear some good fight names, but that is right up there, my friend. Now, listen, you've been in with the likes of Jay Opataya, Chamberlain, Joseph Parker, Richard Riakporhe. Who is the hardest brother that you've fought?
I've got to say Opataya. Opataya's, he's something special. I'd say the two biggest fighters is obviously Parker. Moving up to heavyweight, it was a big difference in punching power, and you know the weight when he was pushing you around the ring and leaning on you. But Opataya was just, I wouldn't say he could punch as all, but he was very, very accurate with his punches, which you know causes a lot of problems. And he's very, very clever, and he's very, very fast. He's very fast on his feet, and he's got very fast hands. And yeah, he's just on you. He's on you.
Really? Does he punch the hardest out of the guys you fought? Would you say, or is he just?
I'd say it's more. It's kind of different. Any fighters that'll tell you who've gone in with heavyweights and gone in with people who are on weight at cruiserweights. There's more of a sting to the lighter guys. There's more of a sting. Whereas Parker, you'd be on the other side of the ring, you know. with Opataya, it's more like that sting, sort of catch you off guard, knockout power sort of thing.
Yeah, the thing is, he's got good feet for a big guy as well, isn't he? He's very in and out. He's deceptively, but we have seen him hurt before. You know, we have seen him hurt and come through adversity, and he clearly is beatable, isn't he?
I can't see anyone beating him in my division at the minute. I really can't see it.
Really? What about that Ramirez who just beat CBS?
I don't think he'll have any trouble whatsoever with him.
Really?
No, I don't think he'll have any trouble. I think it'll be a mid-fight stoppage. Yeah, I just think he's too clever, and he's very good. He's very good. He's elite. And I think the hard thing is not putting other fighters down, not putting myself down, but he's the only sort of we've not seen the best of him, I don't think. I don't think we've seen the best of him, and I think he's one of them fighters where he'll just gradually keep getting better and better and better as he seems to go on. You can tell he's still learning. I think the Breeders' fight, both fights were big learning fights for him. He's got his experience from them, and I think he's just going to keep getting better and better and better.
That's scary. That's scary words. Do you know what I mean? Mate, that's giving us nightmare. Halloween was a couple of months ago, my brother. You're making everyone sending chills to see that guy.
I still have nightmares.
So listen, your division is absolutely stacked. It is stacked like the middle aisle of Sainsbury's. You've got the likes of Richard Riakporhe, Chamberlain, Vidal Riley. As we mentioned, Ramirez, Okoli was in that division. Chris Billam-Smith, yourself. Do you feel that you're a bit overlooked in the division? There's quite big names in there. I mean, a lot of people were backing Chamberlain to beat you, and you beat him quite comfortably. Do you think that maybe you're a little bit overlooked in the division?
I think it was definitely. I think it was overlooked. I think it was
Why?
A little bit avoided. People in the boxing circle knew that was very dangerous, but before having the European and Commonwealth titles, it was a little bit, the risk reward didn't add up. It was a little bit like, I'm not going to go and fight this guy because he hasn't got any straps, so it's a big risk. It's a big risk fight, and there's not much reward there. So and then these beating Chamberlain and going in there with Opposite, I think people have realised what I'm about now. Even though I lost that last fight, I think I still believe I'm at world level. So.
Well, listen, you're European champ, you're actually above a lot of these fighters. And funny enough, I interviewed Vidal Riley, who I rate highly, and I love what he's doing because he could easily just go on Misfits and just beat everyone up on there, and get paid. But he's an influencer trying to win a world title. And he actually said, when the fight was made between you and Chamberlain, he said, Massey's gonna win that. He said straight up to me, no, Massey's got that. And he really backed you and really rated you. But yeah, it's funny that, when you name some of these names come out in the division, that your name doesn't come out, which is incredible considering the accolades you've won, and you're actually above these guys. You're in Saudi.
Yeah, it's a funny one. Like I say, I think the people in the boxing circle, been professional 11 years now, so people know about me in the boxing circle, whether it's they've seen me on small shows or sparring or whatever. But yeah, it's just breaking through to the sort of casual fan sort of side of it.
Yeah.
But, we're getting there. People getting more and more recognised, and
bit of showboating maybe.
What's that?
Bit of showboating. Chuck a bit of showboating in there. You know what I mean?
I don't know. It's not me, mate.
I mean, if you just start moonwalking around the ring and swinging the arm around a little bit, you know what I mean? That catches a bit of attention. You see what Ben Whittaker's doing? Yeah, it's not you though, man. You're straight in and down to business, aren't you?
Well, the thing is, I like Opposite. I like his attitude, and he's a perfect example of that. You don't need to do that. Do you know what I mean? And I suppose he's probably been under the radar for quite a few years until he steps up and he beat Breeders twice, and everyone sort of looked over and thought, who's this guy? And then he's building his character now. He's sort of this no nonsense, no shit talking, just get in there, fight sort of guy, and people love it.
Yeah.
I'm like a little bit.
Yeah, listen.
Getting in there and letting your hands fly. That's what it's about at the end of the day. I know people like seeing, press conferences going off and people chatting shit and that, but we had a bit of that with the Chamberlain fight, but
yeah,
you know, I think he did most of that.
Yeah, listen, the Chamberlain fight really put you on the map, I think, with more the casuals. So, you know, the people that know boxing know that you're the real, you know, you're a good fighter. People know that you're a pugilist. People know that you're dangerous. But as you said, like, you know, just expanding your audience, that Chamberlain's fight certainly helped that. A lot of people had that brother down as favourite. I was at that fight at Selhurst Park. I think he won fairly comfortable. I think the scorecards were about right, sort of 4 or 5 rounds. It was tight fights. Was that fight easier than you expected it to be?
No, I knew as soon as I took it, and I took it on. It was quite short notice. It was only about 6 weeks. But
yeah.
But I took it straight away, and I just knew I beat him. I just knew.
Why? Is there something that you saw in his style or the way he fights, or?
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm just, I don't know. It's hard to say. I just knew. I just knew in the back of my mind that it's not one of those. Every fight you've got to be confident. Like the Parker fight, the Potato fight, I was very, very confident, thinking I was going to beat him. It was more than that. There was just something in my mind that I knew I was going to get in there and beat him. Yeah, I just didn't think he was that special. I think people have bought into his character a little bit more than his boxing. Yeah, just and style wise, you know, if you're gonna come and try and have a dogfight, it's not going to play in your favour with me.
Again, Vidal Riley, same interview. He said to me, Chamberlain always gets his game plan wrong. And I definitely feel that was the case in the Bilham Smith fight, where he was having a lot of joy at range. And then he just went into a dogfight in the guy's backyard in Bournemouth. And he went in a dogfight and it just didn't suit him. Do you think he got the game plan wrong against you as well?
I just think I think with some people you can have a game plan going in there, but when you're in the fight and you're going through all the emotions and the lights and the cameras on you, and your nerves are running high, and you're going through them emotions, people just tend to revert back to type, and it's almost like a bit of a coping mechanism. The fight out, it's a bit of what do you call it? A bit of a fair fighting sort of way of talking. If I'm making sense, it's a bit like so he reverted back to type, and you know he probably wasn't listening to the instructions, what he was supposed to do. He was just getting a bit too emotional in there.
Yeah.
Some take over. It can take over some fights.
But that's like lower level stuff. You know, you get punched in the face and you want to get back. You know what I mean? That's what happens when you start, doesn't it? You know, you get punched in the face. But I'm not having that.
True, but you've got to do it. You've got to do it smart. You've got to do it the smart way, and not just you know, bullying and let your hands go. And that's why you make mistakes and get picked off.
Yeah. He's a talented fighter, and as I said, you've also, you know, your losses have been to like Riakporhe, obviously Jai Opataya, and you know you've only lost to, and Joseph Parker, so you've only lost to like real quality. You know, what's next for you now though? Now you've just lost out in Saudi, but you've come out with so much credit. I must add, so much credit, because you had the heart of a lion. You were a huge underdog. You've got to Saudi, where a lot of fighters are craving to be, and you've come out now, and the world's your oyster. Who do you want to fight next?
I think we're going to get a fight in March, April. I think there's going to be a Sky card around that time. We'll get on that, get a win, and then I want the Bilham Smith fight. That's the fight we want. I'd love that fight. And it's when we're going back to talking about Chamberlain, I just know I've got his number. I just know I can beat him. It's one of those fights. You know, we met in the ABA finals. You know, that was many years ago now. It was a great fight. We've both come on leaps and bounds. We're both totally different fighters now, but I think it'll make a great fight again.
Yeah, that'd be exciting. That's a great move for you. Would you rematch Chamberlain, or do you think it doesn't need a rematch?
I don't know. I wouldn't rematch Chamberlain because it wasn't like it was close. It was a great fight, but it wasn't really close.
Who wins out of Vidal, Riley, and Chamberlain? I'm going to the press conference on Wednesday. Funny enough,
it's a tough one for me. It's a tough one because I've not seen much of Vidal. I'm not gonna lie. But talking of rematches, I would say the Riakporhe rematch if that came to me.
Yeah,
that's a fight I'd like to, because I know I beat him the first time. I feel like I've come on 10 times more than he has since that fight, and I think showing him when Bill Smith beat him, he seems to, no disrespect to him, you know, he's a nice guy and everything. I say hello to him when I see him, but I just don't think he's progressed much.
Because he fought on the same card. That was on the same card as you and Chambo, and I thought that fight was really poor. Just speaking as a fan, it wasn't the fight we was expecting as fans. You know, like it wasn't a great fight. It was really ugly, and a lot of fans came out of that saying, "Riakporhe, he had his chance. This was his chance, and he didn't take it. He didn't let his hands go, and he didn't take it." Did you see it the same way?
I saw it the same way. Yeah, I just think he's not really progressed. He fights the same as he did, you know, 4 or 5 years ago. And the guy can whack, the guy can bang, and I don't know if it's his corner or, like I say, you know, people when them emotions take over in the ring, you know, emotions taking over and you're not doing what you should be doing, what your corner's advising. I don't know, but it's it's one of them because he has. You look at him, he's got potential to be good, but I mean he is good. I'm not saying he's not good, but he's. I think he'd have the potential to beat Bill Smith, but he just didn't capitalise on it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I keep coming back to the Chamberlain fight. I keep coming back to this, and he's probably not going to thank me for this, but the build-up was quite spicy. You know, like there's a couple of rules in boxing, I think, like in weigh-ins, right? You don't spit on man, right? You don't cuss man's mum, and you do not touch man's face. and he touched your face, and you reacted. Do you know what I mean? You gotta have none of those 3 things. And you guys were head to head, you know, butting each other. He tapped you in the face. You sort of slapped him back. Was it all fun and games, or was there more beef than a lamb tikka masala?
Do you know what? I think there was a bit of beef there. You know, people might think it's to build the fight up, but I think just his character is just a bit annoying at the time, and to be honest, it was pissing me off a little bit.
Was he?
But that's not. I don't like. It doesn't get to me.
Yeah.
It's just like I was just thinking in my head, wait till I get you in that ring.
Yeah.
But this is going to be a lot worse for you now.
Did you see any weakness in that bit? Like when he was laughing and you were kind of up in his face? Did that see like was that not a little thing like, oh, he doesn't really fancy this, or?
Yeah, to be honest, when I've gone head to head, it's you know, sometimes you do see it in people's eyes, and I just saw something in his eyes where it was as if he didn't really want to be looking at me, and he wouldn't really look me in the eye when we was you know, on the stage and going head to head. And I think, you know, when I did slap him, and he was telling me to come at him, and he was looking at the ground like that, and he wouldn't look at me. I thought, I think this guy's doing all this because he's a little bit fearful. He's a little bit nervous. I think that's just his way of, you know, a bit of bravado to try and trick himself into thinking that he's confident for this fight.
Yeah, no, I understand. I've got to quickly go on to a Coley. Obviously, he's in the division. He's moved up. He turns up in heavyweight, 3 stone heavier. How do you think he's going to fare in the heavyweight division?
I think he's going to do really well, to be honest. I'm not just saying that because he's a teammate. We're in the same gym. But I think he's, from what I didn't know until he come to our gym when he was a cruiserweight. I didn't realise how much he was struggling at cruiserweight. And he has got that stature to carry that weight. It's not like he's ballooned up and he's turned into an Andy Ruiz or whatever. He's got the frame, you know what I mean? He's got the frame to carry it.
Yeah.
You know, he's got a big long leaves. He's tall enough.
Yeah.
And it's not like a small cruiserweight jumping up to a heavyweight like myself, and I'd have a go at it.
Yeah. But I do agree on the Reactpour fight that. So I'm moving a bit away, but like I do think that you could have won that fight really, and perhaps should have won that fight, the Reactpour fight. So yeah, it's definitely cruiserweight's where you need to be. I think heavyweight's just a bit too meaty for you, right?
It's something we can look at, towards the back end of my career.
Yeah,
pump a bit of iron or whatever, but the big guys, mate, and to look at Parker's probably one of the smaller guys in the heavyweight division, and he's a big old lump. And it's not just the punching power; it's when they're pushing around the ring and they're leaning on you on the ropes. And I can remember sparring with him a year before over at Morecambe, and he got me on the ropes. And he leant on me on the ropes, and I leant back on the top rope like that. I thought, fucking hell, he's going to break me back in a minute.
The thing is, right, there was a little phase where the small heavyweights were king. You saw like David Haye go up and do quite well. Did okay. Mike Tyson, obviously a tiny 5'11", heavyweight, knocking down these big pole acts, these big giants. And then came the era when Klitschko came and just dominated. And it was all about the big heavyweight. And Lennox Lewis came and Fury came. And then they're all 6 foot, blooming 6 and 6'7", and it's a norm. It's a norm. And then little man Usyk comes along, and he's just ripped it back up again. And the small heavyweights showing that speed and accuracy and technique.
You've got to be very, very, very special. You've got to be, like Usyk. He's elite, isn't he? He's gone up and done it.
How does he take those punches?
If you are going to move up from cruiserweight, you've got to be looking at, 16 stone plus. You've got to be carrying that weight, otherwise you're just going to get bullied around the ring. But Usyk, he's put a bit more weight on now, and he's looking good, and he's carrying it well, and he's very good.
Oh yeah, he's a man. What does he need to do to be even in the same breath as the greats? Like people talk about great heavyweights, they talk Ali, they talk Tyson, they talk Lennox, but no one talks Usyk. What does he need to do? He's beaten AJ twice. I was at one of those fights. He's beaten Fury twice. He's beaten Dubois. Is there anything he can do to be mentioned as a great?
Well, I think he should, because he's beaten everyone in our sort of era, in this era, who's put in front of him. So he's beaten everyone who's putting in front of him. Do you know what I mean? Does
he need to be involved in a classic? Ali's been involved in.
I think in 10, 20 years, it'll become more recognised as a great. I think at the time, because he's still fighting now, it's when people retire and you look back at these old fights, and and sometimes characters, people get a lot of praise for the characters in boxing, not necessarily for actual boxing. And he is a character, but he's no Ali or Tyson, is he?
And also I think if you're involved in a classic fight, like Ali's been in Rumble in the Jungle, and if we talked about, he was underdog, you know what I mean? People thought he was going to get goddamn killed, let alone win, you know what I mean? So he's got that. You almost need that. It's almost when you're too good, you don't get reckoned. Look at Andre Ward, great example. He's too good, so he's never really been like in these humdingers or, and I think that affects some of those great fighters, that they can't, Usyk almost needs to be in a classic fight where he's down 3 times and gets back up and wins, and everyone goes, oh my goodness, that's a fight for the ages, and now we'll remember him, But
bit of a rocky story, but he's, like I say, he's beating everyone what's in front of him. He can't do any more unless he sticks around and waits for the younger up and coming, guys to come up, and it's who else is out there?
Joe Gallagher is your coach. How important is a top class coach? This brother has coached the likes of Scott Quigg, Callum Smith, Anthony $1 Million Crawler. What for a fan listening in? What's the difference a top class coach makes, and what difference does he make to you?
It's very, very important. It's you need someone in that corner what's going to see stuff what necessarily other people aren't going to see. You know, Joe's been around the game a long, long time. He's very, very experienced. He's seen a lot of high-level fights, and Joe just knows everything about boxing. So you need someone in your corner when you're going back after the round that's, you know, going to be able to pick up on these little things what you might not be picking up on, and give you the right advice and the right instructions.
Well, we'll just quickly come onto the stable before we wrap up. But like, so in that camp, are you mainly sparring up in Manchester?
Mostly, yeah.
Mostly, yeah. Who is the biggest? I'm going to put you on the spot. Who is the biggest puncher in that gym? Have that.
It's either me or Coley, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Coley's in there now. You have to say that now, don't you? Because he's living 3 stone heavier than you. Hardest.
There's some lighter guys what can whack. You know, obviously pound for pound for their weight. You know, there's some big punches in the gym. There's some good talents as well.
Yeah.
Good ones coming up, and you got a little Mikey Talent. He can whack. Josh Holmes, Billy Denise. You know, there's a few.
Yeah, it's a good little stable. Who's the hardest sparring partner? Who gives you the most grief?
Do you know what? Whatever, or at the minute.
In that stable, in that gym.
Coley's horrible spot.
Yeah.
He's just got big long arms. He's just like.
Yeah.
And when you play fight with your dad when you're young, you just don't come
Oh, that's absolutely brilliant. What's the worst part of training? What part of training do you hate?
Oh, I hate running.
Yeah.
Hate running.
Find me a man who likes hill sprinting, and I'll call him a sick fuck.
I don't mind sprints.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I mean, anything over 100 meters, I'm not.
Yeah, allow that, mate. Allow that.
100 meters, I'll beat them all. I'm explosive, so I had a few lads in the gym test me. Billy tested me. He's the explosive guy, but he offered me a race, and I blitzed him.
Oh, really? I never had you down as being lightning quick over 100.
Just when I get going, but anything over that, I'm fucked.
Yeah, yeah. I can absolutely imagine. No one likes. So you don't mind hill sprinting?
I don't mind hill sprints. No.
You're a madman. You're an absolute madman.
The long distances. I just get bored. I get bored easy.
Madman.
Must have a bit of ADHD or something.
Yeah. Oh, you got to be crazy. What's if you wasn't a boxer, what would you be?
I don't know. Probably working in a factory where my dad is.
It's a good job you're good at punching people's heads in then.
I don't know what I wanted to get into, because I started boxing quite young, and it was one of them I always wanted to do it.
Would you say, have you thought about life after boxing?
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to train, you know, in up and coming kids, and you know, train the young ones, the up and coming ones, and have a gym of my own someday. Would you fight? I help out in the gym. One of my mates has got a gym not far from me, and I help out, train the kids, and do the adults class sometimes. But it's I love training the kids, because they're like sponges. They're like, you'll tell them something, and you can see progression. Sometimes the adults, it doesn't really go in, but with kids, they're just like sponges. You tell them to do something, you can just see that progression over the weeks and weeks, and watch them get better and better. Quite enjoy that. When do you think you'll actually stop boxing? Have you got it in your mind? I mean, you're 31? 31, yeah. Depends how well I'm doing. Yeah. If I'm doing well, then I'll retire. But yeah, it's you know, we want another crack at the world titles, you know.
Yeah. So you don't think we'll see you fighting Jake Paul's son when you're 60?
You won't see me. I'll be off. I'll be off.
Wait, hey, for 30 milli, you'll be there. You'll be there for.
A question there. Someone says, "What did Jack think of the tower reflection?"
Yeah. What did you
think? Right decision.
Yeah.
Right decision, definitely. It was. Yeah, a lot of people asked me about it, but I had a cut above my eye there. It still looked quite nice actually, but it's the first time I've had a cut above my eye. And I had blood. It was the fifth. I think it was the mid-fifth, and it was a clash of heads, to be honest.
Yeah.
And there's no excuses, but it happens. But I couldn't see out of that eye.
Yeah.
I've heard of people talk about blood in the eye, but it's not like you can see red. It's like someone's just put like a clear film over your eye and just couldn't see anything. And I tried not to make it obvious. I didn't want to wipe it. And I got in the clinch and I was trying to like rub it on his shoulder, and his corner picked up on it. And they were trying to throw the lead hand over the top there. And I thought, oh, bastards have got onto it.
Oh, really?
So after it, went back to the corner and Joe said, "Can you see out of that eye?" I said, "I'm struggling." He said, "Right, I'm pulling you out." I went, "Nah, fuck off." I said, "You're not." He said, "You're not." He said, "Well, go out next round, show me what you've got." And then, obviously,
yeah.
But
it was the right decision, right?
Steps it up, yeah. Opposite, he steps it up in the sixth, and he's and the towel went in. So it was the right decision. I'm too tough for my own blood sometimes. I could have stayed in there.
Yeah.
Took a lot of punishment.
Oh yeah, you would have done as well. Like you would.
Boxing game, sometimes you take too much punishment. It's not good. So.
Well, we've got some lovely fan comments in here. We've got Laura Cyclone Kelly, seen Jack spar, some beast, so big man, trained beside him for a while, absolute animal. We've also got we've got Warren Bradley. Will Opataya move up to heavyweight? Do you think he should move up to heavyweight? He's too good for the cruisers. Go test himself.
I think he should do what you said did. I think he should get, which he will. I think he should get all the belts. And then I think he should move up, look to move up, gradually. I don't think he should go straight into a big fight with Youssef. I think he should just find his way first, like you said, did fight, your Trezoras and work your way up.
Work your way up.
Yeah, so I think he's talked about it, to be honest. So that'll be good to watch.
That'd be absolutely interesting. Very lastly, what did you make of Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson? Was it an absolute diabolical shambles, or was it good for the game?
I didn't watch it, mate.
You've answered that question perfectly.
I didn't watch it. Do you know what I think? I think with these sort of misfits and all that, it was big at the beginning, and I think it's dropping. I'm hearing less and less about it now, and Does it bother you as a proper fighter? Like, you're a proper fighter, and if I chucked you on the misfits card next week in Manchester, you could take on the whole roster probably in one night. You could probably knock them all out. Like, does it annoy you though when you see guys just getting a payday, guys that can't fight but they've got a blue tick and followers, and they're getting paid hard, whilst professional fighters are struggling to earn their keep? Yeah, definitely. It's like myself. A lot of other fighters have come up the hard road, and you're earning nothing in the start. You're creating. You're just hoping. Boxing's a very, very funny game. You can have these hopes and dreams in mind, and you can be, fight for nothing. You can have 10 fights, 12, 15 fights for nothing, hoping that you get to these big fights. And sometimes you never get there. You get beat a few times, and it doesn't happen. Your dreams are over, and it's a tough road, and it's not a game to be played. And I think it's a bit of a piss take, to be honest, but it is what it is. We've got two cracking questions from Newton Heath Athletic. Brilliant fighter, Jack. Big up Manchester. He's saying, "Who's next for you, mate?" We kind of answered that earlier. You'd like Chris Billam-Smith. Billam-Smith, yeah. Sorry to answer that for him, but he did mention that earlier. But the other one's a really cracker. How far do you think your mate Billy Dennis could go
World level, European, or British?
I think he can go all the way if he listens.
Yeah,
No, I think he can. Yeah, he can go all the way. He's doing well. He's fighting this Saturday at Sheffield. I'm going to go down to watch that.
Are you going to that? Are you?
Yes, I'll be there, mate. Yeah.
Oh, I think I'm going to be there as well. Actually.
Looking forward to watching Callum Simpson as well.
Yeah, Callum Simpson. Yeah, I should be there as well. Actually, that's going to be a cracker. That's going to be a cracker. Outside of yourself, who in the boxing scene who's your favourite fighter now? Who, like, when they're fighting, you have to tune in and watch?
Got to say Canelo. I just love Canelo's style. He can do it all, can't he? He's slick. He can box. His head moving. He can punch. I just love his style. Yeah, biggest fight. Do you know what? There's a fight I really, really want to see, and that's. I know they've both lost to Usyk, but I want to see is Joshua and Fury. Yeah,
that'd be good. Who do you think wins that?
I'm gonna say Fury.
Yeah, I think Fury. But funny enough, everyone had swayed to AJ.
Which Joshua turns up. And which Fury turns up, because he can be. He's up and down, isn't he? Yeah, it's if they're both on their A game, I think Fury.
Couple of other fantasy fights, just to give you a prediction lastly before we go. Conor Benn or Eubank Jr., who wins?
It's a tough one. I'm going to say Eubank.
Size will matter?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. What about Shakur Stevenson versus Tank? If that was to happen, who would you go for?
It's a tough one. I like Tank. I do like him. It is a tough one.
That's impossible, isn't it?
I like his style. I'm not sure on his new hairstyle, but I like it.
Yeah, what's all that about? Oh, God, what's going on there? So you're going to go Tank?
I'm going to go Tank, yeah.
Canelo versus Crawford.
No. I've got to go Canelo. He's my favourite.
He's your boy, isn't he? I think size is also going to be important in that one. But I'd like to see Canelo fight Benavidez, personally. That's the fight I'd love to see. Yeah. But Mr. Massey, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. I really appreciate you giving us some time. What I wanted to ask is, have you got a final message just for the fight fans, for your fans, that you'd like to tell them?
Yeah, definitely. We'll be back out March time. You know, we're going to get back up to that level, and you're going to see me back at world level again. That's where we're heading. So keep tuned. Follow me on Instagram, and looking forward to another big year. Yeah, listen, you're a fantastic fighter, very underrated, a superb pugilist, but even better gentleman. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing some time with us. Hopefully, I bump into you at the Callum Simpson fight. You'll see me with my Gunman gear on in the media section. Take care, my brother. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, my G.
Cheers, guys.
Take care, my man.
See you later.
What a guy. Jack Massey, ladies and gentlemen. Top guy, European champion, Commonwealth champion, Cruiserweight king, one of the best in the UK. Gunman Boxing, smash the like button. Make sure you comment and subscribe and share this channel. Thank you, my people. Thank you.